Good evening! Hello, this is the Badger Lord. I'm doing alright this evening. Seeing as it's almost 4th of July weekend, and I do have the great displeasure of being an American, yes, it's going to be a little slow today. I'm gonna go ahead and shut that off for the moment because I don't need it. If you just saw something disappear, don't look again. It's probably not worth considering. So, for those of you who have nothing better to do, just as I could be hanging with friends, but this is a time I like to make available for those of you who are interested in seeing me build an empire. One dedicated to trying to work out the differences between Christian and non-Christian, and for those dedicated to seeing, well, at least within game mechanics, how a Christian might play, or how a Christian might live, within the context of a simplified world, then you've come to the right place, and this is the kind of space that I want to develop. Now, on to you could be watching. You could be watching this. If you don't know what this is, well, I feel sorry for you, my friend. Let me see if I can shrink it down. Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm going to have to. You do, of course, know what this is, even without the desktop audio, though I am going to put it on. I have been playing RimWorld. I just couldn't go without any longer. I've been shrinking it for my own play preferences. Let me see if I can get it in an appropriate width. You could be watching this if you wanted to. And frankly, I might switch over from Going Medieval, because Going Medieval, while it is nicely fleshed out, it still has things it needs to do. If you would be interested in watching me play RimWorld, I'm not sure what I'm doing to fail to... I don't know why the screen isn't behaving the way I would like it to. Well, I don't know what the issue is, but for the moment that'll do. Yes, I do Fahrenheit. Because I learned it, and you know what? Fahrenheit's fine. You could be watching me play, though. You could be watching me do. I've decided for once in my life to dive in and do permadeath colonies. Oh, maybe I should actually increase the size of it. That would probably help. My apologies for that. You could be watching me... Oh, I forgot to uninstall my mods. I hope that's not a problem. You could be watching me play vanilla with mods, and more mods. You could be watching me do a Glitter World migrant. Just come out here. This is Gwyll. Or more formally, let's see here. Gwilliam Gwyll Johnston, a sickly child who, as you can see, I've installed some mods, a Christian and a Democrat. More specifically, considering the Democratic Party, and probably the Republican Party, I hope both, are gone by the year 5500 Anno Domini, this description seems apt. Someone who believes that democracy is the ideal form of governance. Although I, the Badger Lord, am a monarch, and I like to believe a benevolent one, I try to be, even though I'm not very good at it, I figured this was a player I could work with. Gwyll, male, a Christian, and also a believer in democracy. Yeah, I have a lot of friends who believe in democracy. They wouldn't call themselves Democrats per se, but that's a completely different issue whatsoever. So you could be watching me build up from here. That might be kind of boring for you. Part of me wants to rotate the map. Oh, and you may be wondering, if he's got all this glitter world medicine and he's from the glitter world, why is he building campfires? The answer to that is... sorry, it's in his bio. He does not have the skill level necessary to enjoy some of the greater comforts. So, yeah, he's roughing it for a while. As they say, roughing it. Yes, my list of mods is not very big at the moment. So you could watch me do that. Maybe you don't want to do that though and you want to watch something else, however. You could watch me... What else have I been playing? I recently finished the Chicken Police game. I believe it was a week or two ago. Never heard of it? Well, let me take you to the store page. Oh, actually, I was going to do that. Look it up yourself. Yes. If you're wondering what the Chicken Police is, oh, not that one. No. Okay, enough dead air. How about we just go to the game? Okay. Chicken Police, though, while I load up Going Medieval, I should have had it in the first place. That's an oversight on my part. My apologies. Chicken Police, though, is a game that is an adventure game. Not exactly like Sam & Max or The Secret of Monkey Island. It's an investigative game about a couple of private eyes in a quasi-30s world. And all of the characters are anthropomorphic, or in layman's terms, furries. I enjoy it. It has a gritty atmosphere to it, and the characters are pretty good. I don't quite like the questioning system, but honestly, on account of the atmosphere and the decently developed characters and the fun I had interacting, I think I would very highly recommend Chicken Police Painted Red. They indicate, if I understand correctly, that they want to build perhaps another chapter. I hope they do. They're certainly very talented in what they did. But enough of that. So, Chicken Police, RimWorld, going about Facebook saying certain things about the Dobbs v. Jackson decision and offering women help if they would like help to keep their babies, because I must say I'm highly in favor of that. I think that's a good cultural development. I hope it sticks. I'm not looking to deprive anybody of the possibility of a decent life, but I must say, above all other things, family is important. And I mean, we know this stuff, and not just from watching Vin Diesel movies. It is Vin Diesel, isn't it? Give me just a second, I'll be right back. It's sweltering in here. Alright. So family is an important thing, as we learned last time, when we lost no small number of the family members that were making our colony. We lost Andrew, a droll sod who barely comprehends things but works to his best, is now gone, sadly. And another fella who sounded very much like him because I kind of didn't like him because he's a pagan. Okay, I admit it. I admit I kind of threw him to the dogs, or to the bandits, as the case may be. That's a failure on my part. That is a failure on Sigmund's part. But kind of this desire for balance in the little colony has now reduced their capacity to do much, and I hope this colony is not on its last legs. I don't think it is, but I hope it is not. It probably isn't. Just because there's a lot to do doesn't mean that these guys are going to become overwhelmed with work and stop doing things that they need to and think about little tiny minutiae that don't need to be thought about and waste their time, etc. They're not going to waste time. No. They're not going to waste time because I've told them not to re-sow in fields such as this one outside of the walls. We don't have the manpower anymore, and therefore we just have to make do with what we've got. Probably should clean up this ivy shrub, however. Please cut that, Sigmund. Oh, these weeds, on top of the other miseries and injuries we've inflicted upon ourselves. Why must we also be given the pestilence of choking shrubs? Well, you know, says Dior, who's still rather bitter on account of losing both pagan friends but also valuable colonists. You know, you could have planned just a little better. Both for the shrubs and for the ones what killed our friends, who are currently buried in the ground. Well, apologies will not bring them back, or give me an opportunity to make it up to them. You're damn right it won't. But we've got to carry on. At least I think we do. As do I. Now, he won't drink natively, sadly. Fortunately, he doesn't need a drink at the moment. So that shall not be an issue. What will be an issue is we will have quite a few supplies to work with that we no longer need, since we no longer have a boatload of colonists. One of the few things we are lucky to have, however, is rough wine. This particular wine, however, is going to rot if I leave it in its present location. Ergo, I say we move it. I say we move it somewhere where it's not going to rot. Say down here. I think that would be a good place for it. Maybe just me, but frankly, I want my wine to survive past summer. Fortunately, it will ferment given time into an even better wine. At least I gather that's the idea. Well, don't feel too bad, my friend. Some friend you are. I did lose my dog after all. He's been a fine companion with me from the monastery all these years. What an ignoble end. You dare say that for your dog. And not for our friends. What can Sigmund do but silently acquiesce to the fact that he's done poorly? It is unfortunate. when we fail to live up to the virtues that supposedly make us who we are. Just as I have failed to quite live up to the virtues that I claim to uphold, and as has Sigmund. I do not know what virtues Dior stands for. I'm not in his shoes, but I've been in Sigmund's before. Where I claim to believe in something and yet fail to live up to it. I don't know what religion you might be, or what politics you might be, or what virtues you hold to be important, what ideas you hold to be important. But have you ever like me, ever wondered if you failed to stand up to it, or even been absolutely certain that you failed to do what you claim to believe in? Maybe you claim to want to help the poor, and maybe you failed to do that. Maybe you saw some guy on the street and you figured, well, there's nothing I can do for him. And so you walked on by. Or maybe you figured, I'm against racism, and yet you had a thought, and you entertained that thought. You thought, something I'm not going to say, something I can't even think of saying at the moment, but which, you know, when you're tired, or when you're feeling ill, or when something horrible has happened, you want to blame somebody. And you end up blaming somebody who, perhaps in your stereotypical imagination, is blameworthy. Just on an instinctual level. Just because you've been tribally taught. Whether by your own party or by other people, whomever you like, is your enemy, or is making the country worse, or is degenerate, or has a bad culture, or whatever you like. Have you ever had a thought like that? And ever, in a moment of weakness, really entertained such a thought? Well, if you have, well, you're certainly not the only one. I certainly have done such things. I'm sure most people have failed to live up to their standards, have hated people because they were different in a moment of weakness, or failed to do good for someone who needed it, again, because they were weak themselves and couldn't help, or thought they couldn't, or felt like they couldn't. Failure is not uncommon among the human race. We do it a lot. We fail a lot at things. Now, Protestants might go on and wax eloquent about Jesus dying for your sins and how the blood of the Lamb makes up for all failures, or something to that effect. And this is true. Of course, all men fall short of the glory of God, and Jesus Christ is merciful. All this is fine and good. But what about for those of you who don't believe in that? What good news do I have for you? I suppose it is that you could believe in it if you wanted. It is real if you would like to learn. Perhaps you're afraid of the idea because you think parts of it are untrue or based in lies. Well, there are some beliefs that might be. Some people argue about creationism or evolution. Some people argue about, oh, you have to vote for this party or that party. You have to vote on this issue this certain way. And some people are not willing to swallow it. And they have their reasons, because they've seen things in their lives that tell them, I'm scared to support that idea. It sounds like a very unwise idea given what I've gone through. Or I've tried doing something like that and it's hurt me. For instance, I, for the longest time, refused to ever have a credit card. Now, many Catholics in the United States have absolutely no problem with charging interest on a loan or using credit cards or going into debt or getting loans for things because of the way the economy works. And I do want to be free of that in one way. I do not want to be a slave to debt, because I understand debt slavery really is harmful, because if you owe something that you can't pay back, or if most of your money is going to pay off a debt, as a lot of modern people feel the squeeze of. A lot of people feel the squeeze of debt. They've taken loans out, they've overcharged their credit cards. A lot of people end up paying bills back the rest of their lives. I didn't want to end up that way, so I avoided debt for a long time. But I couldn't ignore the fact that a lot of my fellow Catholics felt that it could be just to use credit so long as you use it well. I'm not going to get into the specifics because I don't know them very much myself, but I did come to the understanding, well, it is possible to use it, but to use it responsibly. You don't have to overspend. You don't have to be a burden on yourself by making interest basically a religious right of your life. You don't have to make 20% of your income into paying off interest if you don't want to. And I've chosen not to. But I have engaged with credit somewhat in order to prove to the powers that be that look at things like your FICO score that I can be depended upon with money, because the economy is one where you are expected to lend and to give back. Or, no, to lend and to be paid back, or to borrow and to give back. That's, I think, what I'm trying to say. And of course, the question of whether you can borrow money and charge interest on it has been asked before in Catholic circles. Probably has in other religious circles as well. There is such a thing as Islamic banking that isn't bound up with charging interest but offers deals where you pay back things in installments or something to that effect. Again, I'm not very learned in financial matters. Other people have responded to the question of the modern idea of credit in different ways. The inventors of it, at least from what little I understand, actually were the Franciscans. Excellent, though. Fortunately, wine has been around much longer than Christianity because, well, it's been around since prehistory, frankly. Whenever you have a fermented apple, you have a bit of apple wine. And fermentation is just a fancy word for rotting, but in an appetizing way. We're gonna stop sowing to all these fields because I'm pretty sure we've got enough food for the moment. We'll probably have somebody come in and suss up my day, but I'm gonna be okay with whatever comes. I think we've got more than enough at the moment. How is it that this fox carcass isn't rotting? Is it just because... Oh wait, it's because it's autumn and it's only 54 degrees outside. Ah. That'll do it. Do we... How much are we cooking? We don't need to cook as much anymore now that we have, like, very, very few colonists. Actually, I wonder if animal feed might be good. Let's look at the article about it. Yeah, let's look at the almanac. Food, fodder, animal feed, a nourishing blend of straw, vegetables, and grain for the animals. I'm not sure how long it takes to rot or anything like that, and I've got so much hay. But, I suppose... And what ingredients does it... It requires vegetables and hay, so I'm going... I'll tell you what, I am gonna need to do something with all these vegetables, so I figure maybe animal feed isn't such a bad thing after all. Let's go ahead and do... Whoa, maybe not that many. Oh, shoot, how many would that be? That'd be... 99,999,999. I don't think we need quite that much. How about 200? Will 200 do? 200 will do fine, I'm sure. Especially for this big boy who's wandering around here. I say we give him a name if possible. Maybe he can't be named? I don't know. Oh wait, maybe he has been named already. Well, nevertheless, let's train him too. Train him to do what? Lord alone knows. Oh yeah, that's right, I named him Plato. After the bison from the old PBS cartoon, Adventures in the Book of Virtues. Which is a combination of kind of conservative life lessons and not Bible stories, but it's similar enough. You'll notice I'm doing a lot of commentary about life in general, rather than talking about the gentleman working here. I think you can probably tell I'm just a little overwhelmed, and I'm not sure what to do with them, because I have so much crap here, and I just don't know what to do with it all. I'm trying to think about what the best thing to do would be now that I'm missing 2 colonists that I had before. Really, practically 1, but nevertheless. And I'm not sure what to do. These circumstances have made this colony much less appealing for me to play, if you catch my drift. For the moment, I can't think of anything better than just stashing things, just putting things anywhere I can to save them up lest they be wasted. I really hope these guys get the message. O Lord, help us in these trying times. Please forgive me for the wrongs I have done. Fraga, Freda, Frada, Freda, Frada. Well, on the bright side... Oh, and a merchant caravan. That's also a very bright side. On the bright side, it does seem that Deor, despite losing a couple of fellow pagans, is doing all right. I must love the gift of Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. It's a bit early for that, you hypocrite. Never too much fun to make a theological joke. You should make a few of your own. Yeah, you who worships the big sky father. The old man in the sky. I prefer to worship mine from Midgard. Forgive me if I'm butchering actual pagan theology, mythology. I don't know paganism very well. Since the days when we read Edith Hamilton's mythology, it's been so many years. I did once have a picture book of mythology. I'm sure that's very useful. Seriously, dudes, though, let's try and haul everything in so that we don't lose anything. One thing I will do, now that I look at it, definitely gonna... And forgive me if fireworks are going off. Again, July 4th weekend and all that. I promise it's not mortar shells going off, he said bravely. Waiting for the coming doom. As the Franks battered down his door. See, you can hear it faintly in the distance. You can hear the crowds yelling and mobbing the place, just like they did here, you know. So this is why I do so poorly. It's because I don't know how to say no. I just keep giving. I keep giving my friends a hard time, and I keep giving myself way too much work to do. Yeah, I think that's how that goes. Alright, so if I'm not mistaken, Sigmund, again, is the social one here. I say we should trade with these people. Perhaps we can offload some of these goods, maybe get some furniture we need. It is kind of a shame in this game that you can't trade slaves yet. Not because I want to revive it in the United States. I know I talk politics a lot. But, well, after playing RimWorld, it is kind of cool to be able to buy a slave and to emancipate him, to ransom him if you like. That was the old term for it. Relocating piles, I believe that's something in your leg. Look, stop tending to your leg and start tending to trading, will ya? Alright. Now that we have that out of the way, what can we do? Okay, what's this guy got? Well, he is with... Shit, what are you for? Hold on. Wait a minute, what are you for? You are with the philosophers of the natural order, a knowledge-based syndicate. Okay, I can get down with that. I'll treat you nicely. Alright, so what have we got? We've got carrot seeds. Let's hold on to those. A wicker chest. I hope that means a storage device and not, I don't know, the torso of something that we can put armor on, which, cool as that would be, just not very useful. Not for my purposes. Okay. We could sell that fox carcass and that hare carcass. I mean, it's not like we need meat after all. And again, we're going to have plenty of veggies to go with, so... yeah, let's go ahead and sell those. They're taking up space and they'll just rot into meat, and that's no good. I could sell some of this rough wine. I would rather use it for something else, but you know what? We don't need all of it, and we've got... shit, how many fermenting juice? We still got 10, and we're gonna have more, because we got all these red currants. Well, we're gonna have more red currants as well, so... smoked meat's doing alright. Actually, frankly, everything's doing fine, honestly. A stuffed dog trophy. Ah, yes, that's what I did with, Davy Croc. We will immortalize him, like the dog from Scrubs. I'll think of him again. I'll think of his name, but I don't remember it offhand. Not willing to trade his weapons, probably because we're not allied enough, and probably because that's just not what he trades. Maybe I should offer him something. Taste the brown. If I say random things, well, don't say I didn't warn you, because right there, I just did. Anyway. Okay, trading carcasses. We've got plenty of herbs. Let's toss some of those away just for a minute. An ice box and some ice blocks. I think I'm good for the moment. Trade away some of this leather, because leather is patently inferior to linen cloth. It's sticky and gets everywhere, whereas cloth does not. Cloth is actually quite useful. Milk. What do we use milk for? The making of cheese, if I'm not mistaken. I think I will be fine without that. A lot of raw ingredients, a lot of red currant pies. Let's trade some meat to them as well. Actually, since we got all this wine to be sitting and chugging, let's give them yet more. Now, you might be asking, why would we want to give them more? Well, my reason being, aside from also wanting to trade away some of these useless clothes and other things that I don't need, okay, these weapons aren't amazing, but it might be nice to have some, especially considering how poorly we've done so far. And it also might be nice to be able to trade for better weapons in what we've gotten, to trade away some of the ones we do have, such as this flimsy staff, this flimsy berdiche. Might be nice to have some decent ranged weapons, so that we can practice with them. Anything else we want to trade for, or with, or away? Clay. Well, if we want to dig up clay, there's plenty of clay to be had. Let's not clay things up, shall we? Clay, 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 clay. Apple sapples. Saplings. Let's do that. Let's grab all of the barley that they've got here so that we can make our wonderful, wonderful bread. Let's see here. Throw them some cabbages. Yes, let them eat cabbage. Alright, and we'll be proffering them 108 gold worth of goods. You know, there is one thing I do like about RimWorld in contrast to this game. Maybe they'll figure this out later, but simply trading in terms of points is not as fun or interesting as trading in terms of silver, gold, you know, currency, actual physical bits of currency. That's a lot more fun. I mean, if you've ever handled money before, you know how fun it is. I don't know why it's fun, but it is. Is there anything we want to get before we finalize this, though? Considering how much crap we've got, and how much we can't do anything with, I'm kind of inclined to sell as much food as we can. Even if it's only for the sake of gaining some favor. Right, yeah, let's sell that much. We'll keep 5 meat. We honestly don't need much. Anything we want to get in return? Yes, actually, yeah. Let's get some healing kits. I think that's a good idea. In case something happens in the future. I realize, of course, that's not going to bring the dead back to life. Oh my gosh, and we're not going to take the stuffed head of... I only just remembered that that is actually just the stuffed head of his dog, not... And I did want to make a fox trophy. Oh well. What then? I think that's gonna have to do for the moment. And we'll, yes, we'll gain some alignment. We could certainly use it. We could use some allies. That didn't do much to align us with them, but, did enough, I guess. I mean, I guess I'm not doing too much in this world that I wouldn't be doing in RimWorld, at least from what I've seen of it so far. I'm not going to talk so much about RimWorld until I start playing it. It certainly would be nice to do a video on it a week. I'm still thinking of what day. Recently, I've been having more Thursdays to myself, but I would be more than happy to have those back. Not because I dislike you people, or I dislike waxing eloquent about politics and religion and morality and all of that. And I hope trying to give some people some, well, hope and consolation about their imperfection. That's kind of what I was hoping to do when I started this channel. I hope to be a sign to those who need a sign, a bit of mercy to those who need a bit of mercy. An example that even most imperfect people can still desire to do the good things, and you don't have to hate people who think differently from you. It is my sincere hope to inculcate that. Okay, what are you gardening now, sir? What are you gardening now? I have nary a clue. I say we change, well, since it's getting to be autumn, and since we have a buttload of food yet to hold, never mind on our shelves, I say we change up the growing thing. Let's throttle that down a bit. this is no longer so important. Okay, guys, not to mention, you really have to get hauling things in, or else they're going to rot and you're going to waste it. I know it's a lot to ask on short such notice, but it's gotta be done. Actually, what can we say don't do? Don't hunt, don't tend, don't cut plants, don't cook. You can wait to do that. Carpentry is probably fine, but you know, that's not important at the moment. Dior, it's fine, bro. Just haul that to the stockpile, will you, Captain? Alright. And he's not doing well. He's had his religious needs tended to, but he needs something else, and quick. He needs to cook something, I think. I say we let him do that. Do a little cooking, my friend. Oh, of course he has to sleep first. In this big, empty hall. Oh well. At least, how does it look if we were to shut the roof off? It looks big and empty. A fire would probably help. Yeah, that helps a little. But not enough. It does not fill the emptiness of our hearts. Ah, well. We live and learn. Specifically, Dior and Sigmund get to learn from their mistakes. Sigmund especially from his. Dior, I think, gets to learn, maybe teach people how to shoot or learn to shoot yourself. Actually, how good is he at shooting, now that I ask? Melee, he's 16. Marksman, he's 15. Okay, so the weak link here is Sigmund, who really needs to practice shooting things. I kind of wish we had archery targets. Do we have archery targets? I'm not sure we do. I wish we did, though. I think the merchants are about to leave. They certainly don't seem interested in sticking around. I certainly wouldn't be if I were them. Nevertheless, I'm gonna try... never mind. Never mind. I was gonna try and get those wooden traps. Those might have been kind of helpful, but... oh well. Dior, my man, look. I know you're a little salty and all. Oh, right, I didn't reprioritize that properly. Alright. Time to... whoa, what are you doing, kid? You are munching down on my crops. I cannot tolerate that. Or maybe I can. How many seeds have we got? We've got 5 cabbage seeds. That's not gonna be enough. Holy crap. Animal. Okay. You know, we've got to do something. Yes, there are lots of things we've got to do. Yes, there's lots of things we've got to do. We've got a lot of hauling to get to. Problem is, we ain't got anywhere to put half this shit. Watch your tongue. And I will say that we have plenty of space, if you would look, you buffoon. Especially for all this cloth. Anyway, we're gonna have a lot to do here, and it's, lot of hauling, lot of things to pick up, lot of things, and I mean, I'm probably gonna have to admit at some point that there's just too much to pick up. What's worse, there's no shift command function, so a lot of this is going to be manual. Unlike RimWorld, which does have a shift command function that lets you queue up various actions. Instead, these Gomers here are gonna be continuing to baffle me with how stupid they are. Or rather, how stupid I am, because I keep trying to make them do things that they're not willing to do. Yeah. So here's what I'm thinking for the moment. Simply getting things out of the rain is the top priority at the moment. Getting things out of the rain and into civilized ground is what we want to do. Okay, this meat is gonna go bad soon. Can we cook it? We kind of can't cook it simply because, well, okay. I think despite my best efforts, I did not cull enough resources. I sold a lot, but not enough. Tailoring is gonna reduce the amount of fabric that I've got, but, you know, the more I think about it, the more I think, yeah, no, we need to focus on that first. Convalesce if ye must, boys, but, yeah. Okay, yeah, no, focus on hauling. What do you mean you're idle? There's more than enough to haul, and we've got far too much to just leave out in the open. Come on. Come on, lads. Haul things. Haul. Bring it in. I don't care how warm it is. It'll be fine. It's nearly winter. It'll be winter soon enough. Just get things in of doors. That's the priority. Actually, at the risk of possibly injuring them, which, let's be honest, would that really be so bad? We're going to have them practice shooting, especially Sigmund. Excellent. Killed that wolf. We're going to have them attack that one as well. I have no idea whether wolves are very dangerous these days, but shooting practice is to be lauded. Alright. That being done, excellent. Now, let's do some more hauling, shall we? It's not vitally important that we haul those wolves back. Again, we've still got far more than enough food than we're ever gonna need again. At least for the foreseeable future, well into winter if you ask me. I think we're going to be fine all the way till spring. Because we've got so much wine, we've got so much raw food, so many carrots, so much cabbage. We're going to be fine for a very long time. Not to mention all of the pre-made meals that we have. That'll last us until winter. Just the meals alone will. One other problem I have. Okay. So, one thing that I do like about RimWorld, and another thing that irritates me about this game, you have to select every single bloody shelf. If you want to change every shelf in a particular area. So while they're sleeping, I'm going to go ahead and do that so that they organize things a little more efficiently. Yes, I realize I'm only limiting textiles, but... And maybe I shouldn't do that, and maybe I should also focus on improving the importance of this stockpile. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? I have to select that manually as well? Good heavens. Okay, no. Okay. Good. I don't have to do that. It's not quite one and done in RimWorld. The shelves do have to be built, and the shelves, of course, don't have the same amount of stockpiling power that the shelves here do. Honestly, Going Medieval is going to be a real great game and quite a contender once it's released to 1.0. At least I hope it will. I hope it's not abandoned, as games sometimes are. There have been games in the past that have been abandoned due to circumstances. There's been Towns, for instance, which was most infamous years ago. Probably like 5-6 years ago, it was considered to be a contender against Dwarf Fortress, which is still among us, and from what I understand will be released on Steam eventually, in a kind of workable GUI, rather than that garble of text that is presently available, unless you use like the lazy noob pack. I'm not touching it with a 10-foot pole. It's way too crazy for me. But this game, once they finalize everything and add more efficiencies, such as being able to double-click shelves or slow double-click or something like that, and change all the settings of shelves in a particular area at once, it'll definitely give RimWorld a run for its money, because half of what makes RimWorld good is the convenience factors that have been built into it over the years. I mean, it obviously has a head start over a lot of other city builders of this style, or colony sims, I should say, because they've been working on it for like 5 years, long before this. Nevertheless, Going medieval will catch up. One thing I don't think it ever will quite catch up on, though, is simply the modability that RimWorld has. Which I must say is a real big part of the appeal for me. Because there are things I would like to improve on here. I don't know how to improve upon them. And I don't know how to improve upon them in RimWorld either, but the learning curve is much steeper here to mod this game than it would be for RimWorld. Learning how to edit some XML files would be the primary thing I'd need to change in RimWorld, and I have a little bit of experience with that. I have no experience creating 3D polygonal models of things, much less animating them, and I have no idea what I'd have to do to get that into this game. So, yeah. Textures, maybe. I've made some texture packs for Minecraft, but that's really pathetically low-level stuff. Powerful, but low-level. Or high-level, depending on how you're looking at it. Low-level in terms of modability, high-level in terms of computer science. Probably the highest level, because you're not even changing anything in Python or C++, or I know very little about that sort of thing. I just know that computers use their own languages for understanding things, and the closer you can get to a low-level language, like assembly code, the more efficient programs run. That's pretty much all I know. If I'm being honest with myself. And with you. These guys don't know anything about that, thankfully. They only have to worry about hauling things and harvesting things and making sure that what they've worked so hard on is not lost to either the cow or to human error. I'm gonna have them focus more on harvesting things, maybe some cooking would be wise. Holy crap, stop eating my food, man. It's your food too, son. I hope we will also get to the point in this game where we'll be able to have peg legs and that sort of thing. That would be kind of fun. Alright, they seem to have gotten the bulk of their hauling done with. What have they got now? They have 540 textiles, 440 of which is cloth. I must say, I feel very accomplished with that. That was a very good use of time there. Oh dear. That, however, is not so pleasant. They've let that cabbage go to seed, which is unbecoming. This is not what I was hoping to do, and those carrots are going to seed as well, which is also bad. It does, of course, mean more carrots later, but, and I should be very thankful for that. But it's simply not efficient, especially considering, why do I have 196 flaxseed? Holy crap, I don't need that, forgive me. Yeah. If you have any ideas about how I could do this maybe a little more efficiently, rather than just manually making them harvest and haul. Harvest and haul, oh my gosh. Yikes. Speaking of which, though, yeah, since barley is also in a category of being both food and seed, I need to keep an eye on that, too. I will say I do like... There are many things I like about this game. The setting... Okay. I love the setting. I like how you do need to keep track of your seeds, unlike RimWorld, where you're automatically given seeds. Maybe they will make ammunition a thing as well. You'll have to fletch arrows and that sort of thing. RimWorld sacrifices some of the realism to make things less headachy, let's just say. You aren't constantly having to craft this, that, or the other. You get to the fun, quote-unquote, part of colony building, which is apparently forcing your villagers to haul things one thing at a time. Boy, I'm glad they invented shift clicking things. You know, simply on account of the inconvenience in this game, I might be inclined to switch over to RimWorld regardless. Get some medieval mods up here, just rename a couple of folks here. Put Dior and Sigmund into the RimWorld. Would that be cruel? Would that be some alternate timeline stuff that maybe I shouldn't be doing to people? Maybe, but after all, these are my empires. I'm not absolutely at liberty to do whatever I want, but I have my liberties. One thing's for sure, though, we're still not done hauling things. Not by a long shot. Sorry, Dior, to keep you up all that time, but it's necessary. Alright. Yes, we do have to remember... We do have to remember, guys. If we don't haul it now, we starve later, and I don't think you want to do that. Nobody wants to do that. Starving is not the idea of fun that I think anybody here had. Certainly not my idea of fun. Ergo, please, be careful. Be careful and be conscientious. That's difficult for me to do. It's a little difficult for me to say, but let's see. Flowering, maximum yield in many days. Which means it's not quite gonna make it until next spring. These apple trees, I like apples. Despite some of the wordplay surrounding the word apple. Malus in Latin, M-A-L-U-S. Which is, interestingly enough, similar to our word for evil, malice, M-A-L-I-C-E. Holy crap, speaking of which, cow... Cow, I'm going to slaughter you if you keep trying to eat those carrots. Do not eat the carrots. Holy crap, I'm going to have to kill this cow, I think. Oh Lord, take this cow away from me. What few carrots we can get, we should try to. If I'm not mistaken, I want this to flower before I harvest any more, which I think is wise. Well, sir, I must say, I think we've accomplished a lot this harvest season. Bloody hell, has it been brisk. We could have used those two shits, you silly, silly man. You absolute demon. And I mean in your Christian sense. I don't mean the elemental spirits of the Greeks. You absolute terror. We could have used those men. Perhaps we should aim to have much more modest living standards than the ones we have cooked up. Or perhaps you could simply tolerate people who know how to work, who simply believe something different from what you do. You know, we are working towards somewhat different things, even though we do many things similarly. It is not that I believe you a scofflaw, but quite the opposite. You are too afraid of the laws of your gods. I wish you had the ability to discuss conversion. Maybe that shall be added later. I'm not entirely sure what the model of it would be. And maybe this is why people do not like religion in the things that they do. In their games, in their television shows. Because it's very difficult to model religion. Because we very often find that religion isn't a model. Or, if it is, it's not always consistent. And even when it is, those people who have personal experiences that contradict the facts will always clamor that their experience their personal experience should set the agenda. This is not something that is controversial to suppose. Now, is this fellow controversial at all? He is a ruthless master builder. He is a pagan. But did we learn our lesson from last time? Ede Mash. Is it a girl? An ailing traveler shuffled haltingly into Market Arzur. Given time to recuperate, she claimed they could work, but in that moment they looked pretty rough. She claimed they could work, but she claimed she could work. Why not just... never mind. Alright, so what's the issue? You are badly injured. You are not totally conscious, but you can move. Great. What else do we need to know about you? You are a pagan? Oh, well. But... all right. We will welcome whomever you bring in. I don't know what kind of voice we're going to give to this broad. I don't know. Well, I don't know. Perhaps I could do some hauling work for you to start off with. Well, now, making her sound like Martha Jones from Doctor Who doesn't sound so bad, at least for the moment. I must admit I'm rather tired, but I'll be more than willing to help out insofar as I can. Thank you, Eddie. We do appreciate it. These are hard and dark times. So we are thankful to welcome you in. Well, thanks, Governor. Seems you've been through quite a lot. We've lost some very good colonists. You probably would have liked them quite a lot. Yes, you very much would have. We had our friend Andrew, very good with the animals. A good man. And he loved the spirits. Oh, did he now? Well, I suppose they're fine. They've always done well by me, as I came from a village where that was important. And I still keep to the old gods. I suppose telling them not to harvest at all is a mistake. I will tell you this, son. So, Olida is himself a Christian? Oh, that's fine, I guess. Thank you. He's an intelligent man, at least when he wants to be. I can see you have a bit of a rivalry. Oh, just a bit. Tell you what, let me get this cabbage before it entirely goes rotten. There ain't much of it to be had, but let me see what I can get. Very good. And we have more than enough to eat. And drink. Ah, yes, that we do. Your help will be much appreciated, and we'd be very happy to remunerate you in food and drink. Yes, indeed. That much we would certainly be willing to do. You know, Timer, it does occur to me. Why didn't we get that milk while we had the opportunity? Oh, well. Thank you for letting me in. I think I need a rest, lads. Certainly, certainly. Take your time. You've done far more than enough for us. You certainly did not have to do all this. I think she will be quite a good addition to the colony, don't you, Sigmund? Yes. Yes, I do. a gentler side to our infighting. Yeah? As long as we can all get along and make do while we're out here. I mean, that is what we're trying to do. Survive. Especially seeing winter's coming. It only makes sense to try and survive, eh? Right you are. Right you are. You are quite right. Certainly in the days to come. We're going to need as many dependable and able-bodied people as we can possibly get. That certainly is for sure. You know, I am glad to see that you have such a fine library around here. You know, I could do some contributions to it. Well, yes. Frankly, I think you should, love. Especially when it comes to the practical fields, I suppose it couldn't hurt. Yeah, alright. Yeah, we can do that. For the moment, though, I think it's best we get some sleep. Don't you, dear? Yes, it's been a long day, and we've got good news. Finally. I think we will sleep very well tonight. I do see that the rough wine in my cellars is not fermenting at all, but the rough wine out here is. I wonder what the difference is. The difference, I gather, may simply be that the rough wine is at a certain temperature where after spending a year, it will ferment. This wine is a bit young, isn't it? To just leave it in the cellar? It is, but we need it. Or rather, you need it. I do all right without it. Though from time to time a drink is not bad. I do use it for the sacrament. I used to be a brother at the monastery. Oh, is that so? I see. I see. I did not know that. We are trying to cooperate, though. Certainly we've made it this far. Yeah, I can see that. Eddie may be concerned for her life, I'm not sure. Perhaps only instinctually so. Concerned at seeing only one pagan and one Christian and wondering, I wonder what happened to the other two. She probably has a sense of the story. Well, for the moment. Never mind. You are welcome here, whatever else may be said. I will certainly make sure that you are well cared for. I will certainly let him. I have no idea if that's even remotely how people would talk, but... well... this chest is nice looking. Oh, it can store two things, but do I have any say over them? Not apparently. I will say, though, this little wicker chest. It's been a while since I've seen something, well, not that long, I guess. It reminds me of the primitive chests from Valheim, which I have played before, on this very channel, I might say. I've rolled... yeah, no, and I've built things in that. I've built Georgian architecture on one server, which I haven't been on in a very long time. I've tried building churches. Yeah, very unique. Yeah, you've come to expect this from me. I'm still not sure if I have access to that village. I lost a character a long time ago, and I don't think I'm ever going to get everything back again, because I kept jumping through portals and that. But anyway, this wicker chest also reminds me of an entirely different game. Oh, hey, it is built. What can I do with it? Probably gonna put apparel in it, simply because I've got the weapon racks out here. Is everything rotting then, or is it put away such that it's not gonna rot? I don't want to think that I've wasted my time putting things up here. I don't think it's gonna waste away. It might, but I don't think so. Oh, lads, what do you do for entertainment around here? It's so boring. I need something to do. Need to heal my mind as well as my soul. And your body? Well, yes, of course. Yeah, you know, there's a lot to a person. What do you do for fun? Well, we have Beckerman. I'm afraid we don't have much more. My sincere apologies. The game developers have not programmed anything else yet. But I do agree with you. I do wish we had something more to do. Oh, you play horseshoes, perhaps? Like I say, it doesn't exist in the game yet. Oh, what you talking about? You sure you're not just a bit touched, then? Aside from being one of those hokey tree worshippers. I thought you were the tree worshippers. Jeez, that is the... I cannot simulate arguments between pagans and Christians. I never was a pagan, so if I'm misrepresenting, it is because I know nothing, and I admit it, and I am at peace with that. If I ever did meet somebody who was a pagan, I have absolutely no idea how that would go, though I would be interested. I would have extremely low expectations. Oh. Yeah. Well, sir, no very good hunting trophy there. That is my old pet dog, Davy Croc. He valiantly defended this fortress. That's only palisade. Beside the point, he died in order to try to save us. Valiant animals, dogs are. So I did the one thing I thought I could do for him. Since we can't bury our pets, to the laws of England. Oh, is that what we can't bury them? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So, I did the next best thing, and his memory eternal is preserved on this placard. It's the least I could do for him after the great service he gave to us. He must have been quite a dog for you to want to preserve his memory, even if it is a bit strange. He was a valiant animal. Yes, he was. I will attest to that with him. His choice of owner leaves a little to be desired, but I can't fault him too much in his valiancy otherwise. He was a good animal, noble, did a lot of hauling. Very helpful among us. We will miss him deeply. It heartens me to hear you say that, Dior. Thank you for loving the little fella. I wish I'd loved him a little better. No need to get sentimental, old chap. Besides, we've got Plato here. Yes, quite a hungry little fellow he is. Don't seem so little to me. Oh, he's as gentle as a giant. Giants aren't known for being very gentle. You could say a bull in a cornfield. That is pretty much literally what he has been. We have been fighting to keep our food on our table. We don't want to end the poor beast. We want to give him a chance at life. Who knows? He could come across a missus someday. We want him to be able to have kids. He should be able to enjoy himself, after all. It's what we were put here to do. They was put here to serve us, and we were put here to serve the gods, eh? So in a way, they're doing an holy thing too. An holy and necessary thing, after its own fashion. I will say the old gentleman does, for his part, help to offer some solace. Right now, I should prefer a rump steak, but it could be useful. And it is nice to have another living being. Present company notwithstanding, ma'am. Oh, you're so sweet, comparing me to a bull. Don't worry about it, lads. It gets lonely out here. I understand, yeah. Once had to share a fox's den with someone once. And I don't mean another person. Actually, let's have a look at our new villager here. This is something we do, and I wasn't thinking about it. Let's see. So, ruthless master builder. Eddie loved getting stuck into a complex project. She spent many years crossing Europe in search of instruction. Eddie understood how to create gravity-defying structures with stone and iron taught by nameless, genius cathedral builders. Following the plague, Eddie recalled townsfolk dying in the streets as the nobles fled north to escape the plague. Are we not all mere sinners in the eyes of God? Eddie would follow William of York in defending the rights of the common folk to the death if necessary. Mere sinners? Oh, no. More than that, I would say sinners, but on account of baptism, also beloved sons. Maybe sinners in the eyes of the pagans. Maybe the gods see them as nothing more but displeasing creatures meant for service. I do sometimes feel my own inadequacy in the face of God, but that's something very different from the displeasure of the gods. At least I like to think it is different. Are the gods forgiving? I do not know. I cannot speak to that one. What I can speak to is the fact that we're going to need some good, solid winter clothing, which we do not have, and we should attempt to acquire. Let's bump this guy up. I'm not entirely sure that this works properly. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that the priority system does not work as it ought to. It certainly doesn't seem to for me. But then some of these developments, it seems, are fairly recent. Although it does give you the opportunity to pause things and... I don't know. But what I do know... is that I want these guys crafting stuff. Now that we've more or less hauled everything in, and how much fodder we got? 951 hay and 51 animal feed. Delicious. I just noticed you can't properly scroll down what you've got. That, might prove to be a problem, yes. Kind of a problem, if you ask me. I wonder if there is a way to reserve barley, because we're going to need to do that. Unless we just want to cook all our bread, but I'd rather not do that, if possible. No, do not throw barley away to the animals. So Eddie, definitely another accomplished person. Another accomplished crafter. I believe Andrew was also a builder. At least the building part seemed kind of familiar. Let's see, what are her other traits? Only needs to shut eyes for the briefest of catnaps. It is a bit difficult to teach, meaning she learns slowly and is clumsy, and is born with a boss eye, with the evil eye, meaning not going to be very good at diplomacy, unfortunately. Though she does have 2 stars in it, so who knows? And she does have a passion for the intellectual, even though she's not very good. What else? Smithing is an absolute no. Carpentry, no, not really. Wait a minute. Yeah. Although Frank, yeah. Okay, I see what I was doing there. There we go. Carpentry, you'll be fine with that. Cooking, I think we should probably keep that to Dior because he cooks better and he likes it, whereas Aetha does not. You know, I may not be the top of my class, but I will say I do like learning, even though I'm not very good at it. Well, you may still be able to contribute. I certainly did not mean to give the indication you could not. Your passion for it could do a great deal of good for this colony. I certainly hope. Speaking of which, I do kind of wonder where we should apply. I think, frankly, it's going to have to be poured into smelting, because that is a prerequisite for so many things. You couldn't tell it by the way this cartography tree is laid out. I mean, cartography? By the way this technology tree is laid out. You couldn't tell that smelting is a gateway to so many other things, and they really need to rethink how they laid this out. Smelting should be a gateway to... It is a gateway to steel and blacksmithing, but it's also a gateway to metal traps. That should be indicated. It's a gateway to... What else is it a gateway? It's a gateway to cooking. Because in order to build a stove, you need iron ingots, so you need to smelt in order to make lavish meals. So smelting should indicate cooking. It should definitely indicate an armorer, because you need 5 ingots for that. So that's kind of stupid, if you ask me. Yeah, no, this tech tree does not impress me. I am not impressed of it. Don't hate it, but I'm, yeah, just not pleased with it either. Yeah, it's alright though. It's fine, as far as it goes. So how'd you come to be here then, Dior? Well, I wandered in out of the wilderness. And here I saw this ugly, near-naked hermit trying to build a house to try and protect himself with. I could see that he was a monk, or perhaps an outcast for one. But he did invite me in and offered me hospitality. It didn't look anything like it does now. The dining room, you see? Right past that chair. Right past that. That was between there and the wall. That was a courtyard. Tiny, cramped little thing. Everything was shoved into between that table and the brazier. Just tons of supplies just sitting around. He had dug out a little hole. Just a little bit bigger than the one we've got now. I mean, just a little bit smaller than the one we've got now. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I see, yeah. Okay, I'm not going to let it drop below 50, so I'm going to stop cooking with barley now. I must say, he really seemed to know what he was doing out here. Despite the fact that he said he needed help. We'll see why, of course. Just because you know how to do things doesn't mean you can do it all. Yeah. Yeah, no, I kind of see what you're saying, yeah. When you're alone, it gets difficult because life's complicated. And that's why it's good to have friends. To make complicated lives easier to deal with. Yeah, that's actually pretty wise. Why must it take so long to sew one thing? Bloody christened. Good heavens. All's blood. And it still comes out as a tattered rag. Eddie? Eddie, we're going to need your help, I think. What's that now? What's that now, your reverence? I think we're going to need your help if we're going to have enough clothing from all of this cotton wool that we've pulled in. Cotton wool? Scratch that. I meant linen. We're going to need help if we're going to make clothing out of all of this linen we've got. Right. Well, what can I do then? Well, you could help me sew. I could certainly use it. I could use the help. Sewing clothes is very laborious. I was wondering why I had a movement impalement, and I'm like, did they actually make it more advanced? And I'm like, oh, wait, no. It's just his elf shot. Which is actually kind of an advancement of its own. Anyway. Alright, I'll help as much as I can before bed. Thank you for asking for my help. Glad to contribute. Ugh. Man, sewing is hard. Yes, very. Oh. You coming to bed with the rest of us? I think I'm going to give it another try. That's the spirit. You've got a great deal of spunk, young lady. Don't right I do. You don't make it this far out into the wilderness without it. Don't you worry. I got this. All right, what we got here? Well, that's not very good, is it? I hope he won't be disappointed with it. Oh, no, don't worry about it. We're used to doing poorly around here. I'm not very good at it myself. Well, I'm certainly not either. Oh, how are we going to survive? How are we going to survive without... I guess we'll just have to have nice warm fires then. I suppose so. I can't think of anything better. A lot of dancing around. And a lot of alcohol as well. That might do. That might do, young lady. Forgetting, of course, that everybody's roughly the same age, about 27. Well, maybe we can write about some of the things that we've discovered in our process here. I'm going to write a bit about cloth making. It does sound like a good use of time, young lady. I appreciate it. Thank you. Someone should write about our adventures here, at least for our own edification, so that we can know what the best things to do are. Tell you what, old timer. You get to sewing and I'll get to holding. We definitely need to pull in this flax. Do we now? We've got 200 of it. We don't need more. Oh, well, as you can see though, it goes quick. You are right. It doesn't last forever, but nevertheless... 200 seeds, we hardly need it. Well, you never know. As you yourself say, the things that might not be coded into the game. I know things too. Aye, that you do. There has been forgiveness and reconciliation, I think. I hope you will agree with me. We'll see. We'll see. Well, this has been a good round, I think. There is some healing going on between Sigmund and Dior. Eddie is a nice gal, and Sigmund is trying to learn to appreciate her for what she is. Not the brightest of people, but very enthusiastic in what she does. Definitely cares about the well-being of people. I will not say specific people, but I think probably just generally. These rags are not fit for me. That is the one thing I would like to address sooner rather than later. Oh, one thing I should manage, by the way. Give her some weapons. So, okay, what's she good at fighting with? If anything. She's good with melee weapons. You better make sure that she has something decent to fight with. Well, that's a little bit better. Not exactly what I was hoping to do, but maybe I am getting better at this then. Is there anything more to haul in? You know, I think we've done well. I did not think we were going to do quite this well. We have far surpassed my expectations for things. Let me put it that way. Got this place ship-shape and in order. We've rebounded from our losses. Let's try and get back in shape, eh? Now that we've done all this... Oh, crap, yeah. I think it will be time to call it in a few minutes, though. We have a new colonist. She's not dissimilar from our old friend Andrew. In some ways very different, in other ways very similar. She's a bit dopey, but she's enthusiastic about learning things, which makes up for it. Certainly there's no shame in being a little slow. Lord knows I'm slow in things too. Not in intellectual things, more social things. We all have our strengths and weaknesses, though. Her strength may not be intellect as such, but she's certainly gotten pretty far on only a minor passion in it. I commend her on that, all other things being equal. I don't know. I wonder if she's Down syndrome or something. Not that that's a bad thing. Someone who's mildly mentally impaired can still be a very sweet person, and they can still overcome some of their challenges if they're tenacious. Not everyone is. And honestly, we must admit our limits as human beings. As we have spoken of this evening, not everybody is capable of being perfect. In fact, nobody is. Nobody is capable of living up to their morals absolutely perfectly, because we human beings tend just to fail. Even if we're trying to be evil, we tend to fail. Probably especially when we tend to be evil because it's so contrary to our nature. We try to be good. That's what we were put here for by God, I would say. By Jesus Christ. And even if you don't believe in the gods, even if you don't believe in God. I do think everyone can admit that if you dig down deep into the human psyche, everyone is trying to do what's good. And if they're running away from that, it's because they have pain or they have fear that needs to be addressed in order for them to do good properly. Whether they choose to or not is up to them. And I'm living out the making of choices like that in my own life. And I can only imagine how difficult it must be for others, because it's very difficult for me when I have a choice to do something small but wrong that I know is wrong. Anyway, I've ranted too much. God love y'all. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you all next Friday. Peace.